Hello MotoGP fans. Welcome back to ZNGP Today. After a sparkling debut on the Yamaha M1 in Valencia, three-time WorldSBK champion Toprak Razgatlioglu has laid out his expectations for a learning-heavy 2026 MotoGP debut with Pramac Yamaha. In a wide-ranging interview, he balanced realism with ambition, predicting a cautious start, a steep learning curve, and the hope of genuine competitiveness by 2027. Yamaha has set the curtain raiser for its 2026 MotoGP project, and it's coming to Jakarta. The factory team will unveil its new V4 machine's livery ahead of pre-season testing, a symbolic and practical step in what promises to be a critical year for the Japanese manufacturer. Don't forget to click subscribe button and the bell icon for MotoGP news update. Toprak opened with a pragmatic plan for his rookie year: don't overpromise, but don't hide either. He compared his projected short-term progress to what Nicolò Bilega achieved when he stepped in for Marc Marquez, an example of a substitute who hit the ground running and produced credible, race-worthy results. Razgatlioglu framed his immediate goal as achievable and measurable: get competitive quickly, learn race craft at the premier level, and use early momentum to build toward podiums later in the 2-year contract. I think in the first few races I can do what Bilega did this year when he replaced Marquez. Quote from Toprak Razgatlioglu. That benchmark sets a realistic bar for fans and team alike, a way to evaluate his adaptation without expecting miracles on day one. For a rider who's used to topping leaderboards, it's a modest, smart target that prioritizes continuity over headline results. One of the clearest themes from Toprak's interview was his conscious shift in mindset. Accustomed to the immediate feedback loop of superbikes, where lap times and top sheet positions are constant motivators, he admitted having to retrain himself for MotoGP's more complex development game. That meant ignoring public time sheets when appropriate, concentrating on setup, position and rhythm, and resisting the urge to chase instant gratification. He framed patience and process as essential tools for long-term success on the M1. Nowadays, I have to force myself to ignore the screen and focus on my job. That mental discipline could be the difference between a rookie who flashes briefly and one who builds sustained progress. And Toprak knows which role he wants to play. Toprak was frank about Yamaha's current position relative to the Ducati powerhouse. He acknowledged that the M1 is a machine in development, and praised the team's work rate and strategic moves, including the switch to a V4 for 2026, as signs of a program intent on closing the gap. Rather than hiding behind excuses, he accepted the reality while expressing confidence in the project's trajectory: learn on the existing package, help evolve it, and reap the benefits as the bike improves across seasons. Yamaha isn't quite at the same level as Ducati yet, but I see everyone working hard to get back to the forefront. His comments read as both measured critique and constructive optimism, a test rider's eye married to a competitor's hunger. Toprak also spoke about the broader context, what MotoGP means for Turkey and the weight of expectation that follows a country's first full-time representative in the class. He reflected on passionate home fans, sometimes prone to overreaction, and on his own hopes to race at Istanbul Park in front of compatriots. While eager, he tempered that desire with realism. He'd rather contest a home round when he feels ready to fight for the podium, which he believes will be more likely after a season of learning. I hope so, and we're working on it. The circuit has been resurfaced and is ready to go. However, for me, it's better if it's not before 2027. That mix of pride and patience maps neatly onto his overall approach: ambitious yet methodical, mindful of how national expectation must be matched by on-track readiness. Toprak Razgatlioglu arrives in MotoGP as a rare mix of champion temperament and humble student. He's setting measured targets: emulate Bilega's early impact, ignore the noise, help the Yamaha project evolve, and aim for real battles by year 2. If his Valencia pace and professional attitude are any guide, Pramac Yamaha and MotoGP fans have a rookie with the tools to grow into a genuine threat. We'll be watching closely as winter testing becomes race laps and Toprak's learning curve turns into Razgatlioglu. Yamaha chose Indonesia as the stage to launch its 2026 season, signaling the importance of the Asia-Pacific market to its MotoGP strategy. The official reveal will take place in Jakarta at the Yamaha Indonesia Motor Manufacturing Dealer Meeting on January 21st, a date that brings the factory's headline riders and key staff together before the team heads to shakedown and official tests. Hosting the event in Indonesia also underlines Yamaha's commercial ties in the region and gives local fans a high-profile moment to connect with the team ahead of track action. That single-day spectacle is timed to feed directly into the winter testing window, giving Yamaha maximum momentum as it switches engine architecture and presents its visual identity for the new era. The headline technical story is Yamaha's shift away from the long-running inline-4 architecture to a V4 layout, a seismic change in the factory's approach. After years of inline-4 development, the move to a V4 is intended to better align the M1 with the performance characteristics required under the evolving rulebook and to close the performance gap to rivals. Being the only manufacturer in concessions ranked E this season, Yamaha retains testing freedom and an openness to development that could make the V4 introduction decisive if the package comes together quickly on track. The Japanese manufacturer enters a bold new era in 2026 as it gets set to race its first V4 bike in the modern era. In short, the livery launch is more than aesthetics. It's the public face of a profound technical reset that will define Yamaha's competitiveness in the early rounds. Fabio Quartararo and Alex Rins will front the factory launch, and for Quartararo especially, the season represents a crossroads. The 2026 campaign is widely viewed as pivotal for Yamaha to convince the 2021 champion to extend his commitment beyond 1 year. Quartararo delivered strong glimpses last season and will be watching the V4's early performance closely. The brand's ability to offer a competitive package in testing and the opening rounds could be decisive for contract conversations and team morale alike. The rider element turns the Jakarta launch into a high-stakes showcase, a livery reveal that doubles as a first real signal of how the new engine concept fits the team's short and medium-term ambitions. Yamaha's event sits inside a busy January launch period across MotoGP. Pramac Racing will kick off its own launch on January 13th in Siena, VR46 will follow in Rome and Aprilia, Ducati and others have set dates that cluster launches just ahead of Sepang's shakedown and official tests. Yamaha's concession status, ranked E, gives it extra flexibility during the year to develop the engine, a regulatory advantage that the team will need to exploit if it wants to accelerate the V4's development curve. The Jakarta reveal therefore has two functions: present the new look and start a tightly choreographed sprint toward the track, where ideas must translate into lap time quickly. With rival teams staging their own early January launches, Yamaha must convert the publicity into performance when the bikes hit Sepang and the testing season begins. Yamaha's Jakarta unveiling is equal parts marketing moment and technical checkpoint. A V4 rollout, Quartararo's future, and the concessions window combine to make 2026 a make-or-break year for the Japanese factory. The livery launch on January 21st will be the first public clue to how bold, and how fast, Yamaha's new chapter will be. Stay tuned. Once the shakedowns start, the pictures will give way to lap times, and that will be the real verdict. Thanks for watching ZNGP Today, and this is your MotoGP news update. And see you next time!